holding tight, praying hard through every fight. Got no wins, but I got pride. Made it through the other side. Yellow flags like warning signs, but I ain't falling for their lines. Got nerves of steel, a shaky hand. This ain't a game, it's fight or land. Saw that 18 catch the wall, 21 spun, took out them all. But somehow I found the lane, like Moses through that fire and rain. Yeah, I thread the needle, dodge the flame. Every pile up calling my name. Wrecks behind me, wrecks ahead, but I ain't wrecked, I ain't dead. Sliding sideways, holding tight, praying hard through every fight. Got no wins, but I got pride. Made it through the other side. No checkered flag, no champagne rain, but I kept it clean through the carnage and pain. One more lap, one more breath, a dance with danger, a race with death. Still I thread the needle, feel the flame. Every turn's a twist of fate's game. Wrecks behind me, wrecks ahead, but I ain't wrecked, I ain't dead. Sliding sideways, holding tight, out of chaos into light. No first place, but man, I ride with fire still burning inside. Yeah, I thread the needle in this wild racing ride. Strapped in tight, green lights flashing, rubbers burning, hearts are clashing, tires screaming that southern heat. 200 strong on the NASCAR beat. Lap 5 wreck on turn 4. Smoke so thick can't see the door, but somehow I slip right through like a ghost in red, white, and blue. 'Cause I thread the needle, dodge the flame. Every pile up calling my name. Wrecks behind me, wrecks ahead, but I ain't wrecked, I ain't dead. Sliding sideways, holding tight, praying hard through every fight. Got no wins, but I got pride. Made it through the other side. Yellow flags like warning signs, but I ain't falling for their lines. Got nerves of steel, a shaky hand. This ain't a game, it's fight or land. Saw that 18 catch the wall, 21 spun, took out them all. But somehow I found the lane, like Moses through that fire and rain. Yeah, I thread the needle, dodge the flame. Every pile up calling my name. Wrecks behind me, wrecks ahead.
All right, Russ, welcome back for another Thursday night of racing. We are going from a road course to the short track. I mean, I guess, Russ, you could call it a short track. 30 seconds around this track is where we stand right now for your pole sitter that is on the block right now, and that is James McCray. Russ, back in the booth tonight with Racers Elite. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, man, coming from the road course out there in California to the 1 mile flat oval of New Hampshire. Man, it's going to get exciting here tonight, and I can't wait for it.
Well, we did have some fireworks last week, and we would be remiss if we didn't talk about that. McCray putting on a fantastic show at Sonoma, getting it done, turning right and left to extend his lead. And Russ, nothing but spectacular work out of James McRae so far this season.
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely came on the scene in a big way. I mean, he's been probably one of the most consistent drivers so far this season in the Racers Elite Cup Series, and looking a little bit no different than tonight. I mean, currently sitting on the pole with a 30.056 lap time, and looking strong here again tonight.
Yeah, it does look like we might have about 19 drivers that are going to take to this New Hampshire Speedway. But let's see if we can go and take a look at where we are points-wise. So right now, we can see James McRae still holding on to that lead. Andrew Teft right behind him. That is last year's champion. You've got Troy Thomas. Not unexpected for Troy to be up there, Russ, but fantastic job by him so far. Dennis Kane there in fourth. Great to have Dennis back. Truth Hoke in fifth. Kirby, Gary Bowman, Pindell in eighth. And we saw Pindell, Russ, just put on a dominant performance. I believe it was at Pocono just 2 races ago. He is sitting right there in eighth. Alex Gates, and then we got Trevor rounding out your top 10.
Yeah, that was a great race there by Chris. That was actually Indianapolis. He just put on an absolute clinic. Put an absolute clinic on out there, and really came into his own in that race. Won that thing, dominated it, and locked himself into the playoffs just like James did last week at Sonoma. Yeah,
so, and as you know, throughout everything that we do here at Racers Elite, we have pretty short seasons. Andrew likes to get these things turned over pretty quickly, and I just want to pop up this schedule because, as you can see here, we are at New Hampshire, and Russ, I think we're going to miss you next week at Nashville Super Speedway, but then we go to Dover, Darlington, and Texas, and then after that, man, it is going to be playoff time. But Russ, since you're not going to be here for Nashville, what do you think this scope, and you're talking Nashville, Dover, Darlington, and Texas, for the next gen, it really doesn't get a whole lot better than these next 4 or 5 races.
No, I mean, for sure. I mean, yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to be out of town next week and then again a couple of weeks after. So there's 2 weeks that I'm not going to be here. But, yeah, like you said, it's kind of the an array of different tracks, and it's definitely going to be exciting leading up to this playoffs as to who can potentially win themselves into the playoffs. I mean, very different types of tracks. I mean, we got, the 1 mile short track here tonight in New Hampshire, and then, a couple of 1.5 miles. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be exciting. Anybody's able to win themselves into the playoffs here at this point with these next 4 or 5 races.
Yeah, you never know what is going to happen, and we're going to pick our what we think are going to be our winners, here very soon. But as you can see, 68 degrees here tonight, but that doesn't tell you the whole story. That track temperature, Russ, 109 degrees, and you can see we're only about a mile in length, but we are turning this thing in 30 seconds, and that will tell you, although we have some nice straightaways, man, we have some flat, slow turns. What are some of the keys that you think are going to be relevant tonight as we go around this mile speedway?
Well, I was talking to some of the guys just before we went live here tonight, and this track temp is playing bully right now. I mean, guys are kind of struggling to keep the car underneath them. It's obviously hot and slick, so tire management is going to be a major factor here tonight. We know New Hampshire sometimes can be very notorious for chewing up your tires. And, really the biggest thing I know from running here in the past is the bottom is a good way to get around here, but not the very bottom. Usually you want to try to run about a lane up off the bottom. You get too far to the bottom, it makes you even looser, and it's going to make those tires even hotter and burn them up quicker. So I think that's going to be about the fast track for tonight, just really managing those tires and not necessarily keeping it wrapped to the bottom, but as close to the bottom as you can get while being able to keep control of it.
Yep. Don't you know that is going to be the case? Now, we are racking them up right now, folks, because we are getting ready for the green flag. Now, we're going to show you what our qualifying results are. So let's see if we can empty this thing out, and then we're going to pop these guys up. McRae, again, your points leader is going to be your pole sitter. We actually have June out there in the chat saying, let's go 27. So, June, appreciate you joining us. Pindell, that fantastic run that you talked about before in Indy, he is going to be starting on your outside. Curtis Ecker there in third. Look for him to be pretty quick. I have raced against Curtis at these tracks. He will be pretty fast. Corey is going to be fourth. Ed Jurgen in fifth. Truth Hoke right there in sixth. Andrew is going to be in seventh. Troy Thomas in eighth. Alex Gates and then Gary Bowman are going to round out your top 10.
Yeah, then Dennis Kane and Kirby Wainscott are going to take up the next row in 11th and 12th. Hayden Malcolm, Aaron Marquis going to start 13th and 14th. Then Jesse Fox and Ira Kohlhaas, the last two drivers to take a lap here, are going to start in 15th and 16th. Again, really good to see Ira out here. And tonight, John, Ira's got a paint scheme on his car that's going to make Troy's car give Troy's Thomas's car a battle for my favorite paint scheme of the year tonight. Another black and lime green, and anybody that knows me, I love that black and lime green color pattern. And man, Ira's car is looking slick tonight. But Rob Yost, Mike Fudge, and Trevor are going to round out this 19-car field here tonight.
All right, so we're going to get them ready to go. So here you go. We have racked them up. We have talked about our points, Russ. We have talked about our schedules. Now we're going to talk about New Hampshire as we go along. We are going to take some rides on board. We're going to hop into the cockpit of some of these drivers. We're going to talk to you about what they're doing to be able to manage these right front tires. Now, you do have 120 laps. And, Russ, from what I hear, if you maintain this thing properly, you very well might be able just to one-stop this thing.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of caution dependent, but it's definitely a one-stop, possibly two. I'm gathering, about 55 to 60 laps on a fuel run, so depending on the number of cautions that we see, could potentially be a one-stop race. Other than that, I mean, it's going to be up in the air as we're coming out of 4 getting ready to take the green flag.
So here you go. James McRae is going to bring them down now in the air. That green flag is waving. Here we go. Pindell with a fantastic job, and he gets a great jump there on the outside. And not only does he get a great jump, I mean, he is going to shoot to the lead right here. Pindell in that 94 going up front in a hurry. Corey with a great jump, too, in that 20 car. He is going to slot into third. McRae right now into second. So, man, Russ, what a great jump there by that 94, and we are already starting to go 3 wide coming on the exit here of 4.
Yeah, I was talking to Chris a little bit before the race, and I think he was kind of feeding me a little bit of both because he said he was not very comfortable. He did not have a good feel of this car here tonight. But man, that initial start, he kind of proved himself wrong if that was really the case. Great launch by him to get himself out in the lead.
Yeah, and we're going to see how he's going to handle this car all the way throughout this. You can see Troy Thomas, he is up against the boards right there, Russ. On this third and fourth turn, he's going to come off with a head full of steam, getting himself around the 98. But now we are looking at this battle between Ecker and the 20 of Corey, and it does look like Ecker has a pretty fast little 8 machine tonight.
Yeah, really impressed with him. Being able to put a really good qualifying lap on the board and start himself up front. Going to try to somewhat keep himself a little bit on the safer side from any potential melee that may happen in the middle of the back of this field. But great qualifying effort by Curtis here tonight, and look forward to seeing what he can do with it.
Yeah, as you can see, all of these drivers kind of nose to tail. They're just working themselves into getting some heat in these tires. You can see the very distinct lines. And Russ, I saw in practice, some of these drivers are going to start using that apron. They're going to get so low on this track where you're going to see all 4 tires blowing right on that apron, almost that pit entry in both 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, so they can run all over the track here to find some speed.
Yeah, they really can, and I saw the exact same thing. I mean, I was watching a couple guys. Rob Yost Jr., to be exact, was one of them I was watching, and we seen him do that earlier on. I'm not sure if it was this season or if it was at the tail end of last season, but we saw him doing that exact same thing at one of the other tracks and running that apron, which is really an unconventional path around this track, if you will. But I mean, if it works and it keeps your tires cool, and then more power to you.
Yet it does look like now McRae starting to pull back to Pindell. Pindell almost running really what you would call a diamond line, going in high, and he's cutting it down, try to getting a good run off of that turn. But now McRae looks like really getting into the turn well. You can see he also running that high line. So we don't see a lot of takers right there at the bottom of this track. So I don't know, Russ, we're going to see how these tires handle, but McRae looks like he's just getting into these turns a lot better than what Pendel is right now.
Yeah, it looks like he's able to just get it in a little bit deeper than what Chris can at this point. But I mean, we got a long way to go yet. 120 laps, and we're only on lap 7. So it's about managing those tires. Like I said, I mean, if maybe Chris is just kind of conserving a little bit as he can right now, but he's got to take a look at that rearview mirror because McRae's coming.
Yeah, McRae running some really good lap times right now. We do have a paddle. We're going to come right back here because it does look like Aaron Marquis all over the back end of Dennis Kane right now, trying to find a way around. But you can just tell, Russ, it looks like all of these drivers are working that midline, what I would consider to be a mid to mid-high line right now. I think as this race goes along, a lot of drivers will start to migrate back down to the bottom because they're going to find a little bit more rotation right through the apex of that turn. But right now it does look like Marquis falling off of the back end, getting right into the grass now here of Kirby Wainscott.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, about a lane to a lane and a half up off the bottom is kind of ideal here. At least it's a little bit easier on your tires. But we were just talking about it, and I happened to look back and I see it happening here just almost right now. But Rob Yost running, I saw him run down there on that apron once again, just like I saw him running in practice, and he almost got back down there again. So I think he might be starting to search for something a little bit lower, at least through turns 3 and 4. But man, they're all over searching for something.
Yeah, we'll stick on board and be right beside of Rob right here as he goes through, because now you can almost see, Russ, they had about a 3-lane going, and now searching for that down at the apron. Now he's going to go way up above, and you can almost see that seam there on that second set of white dashes. That is where you get a lot of rotation. That's where that new pavement is. You kind of want to stick there. You can see it really well on the entry to 1. The more you're up top there on that outside, that old pavement, it's a lot less grip. But, man, I will tell you, there's some drivers making it work now, because it looks like Kirby Wainscott falling back another spot as Ira Colehouse using that high line to go around.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few guys trying to run that, that 3rd or 4th lane up there, and it gives you pretty good runs off the corner if you can get the hammer down at the right spot. But just kind of searching around trying to find something. I mean, you see Rob going back down towards the bottom here, going to try to sneak underneath Kirby Wainscott, see if he gets there he goes, dipping down onto that apron coming out of turn 2.
Yeah, he's going to use it to rotate that car, because the lower down that you go on those turns, the flatter this track is. So if you can really get down there and take that shorter distance, it negates that banking just a little bit. Rob really working that line. As you can see, one of those drivers that gets down there, but I just got to think, Russ, the driver that nails that bottom line, that's one of those things about racing they always talk about, run where they are not. And there you go. You see him right down on that apron. He is below that line, but now he's putting himself in danger of getting past here, because Gary Bowman, fantastic drive on the exit of 2. He is going to be beside here going into 3.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, being down there, I'm not quite sure if that apron is going to be a positive route around here or not. I mean, you just got to, you're lower than the bottom of the racetrack, so you have to woe yourself up even more to be able to get down onto that apron. So, I mean, maybe not the best way to get around here. We see him doing it again here.
Yeah, and I do believe, Russ, that this might work when you get a lot of wear in those tires. But I believe, and now you can tell we've got drivers getting tight, as Hayden Malcolm is going to get all over that wall there on the exit of 2, but he is going to start doing this thing on all corners here of this racetrack. So the 83 choosing to use that apron to try to get rotation, but it looks like it is backing him up. But now don't look, because it seems like McRae has found some pace. 15 laps in here, Russ, he is starting to work the back end of Pendel.
Yeah, I was kind of watching that. Gap was about 0.7 of a second. Now he's wearing that down to about 0.3 and slowly closing in. Wonder if he's got something locked in, or if maybe Chris is starting to burn his stuff up just a little bit, as we're 16 laps in now.
Yeah, 16 laps in. It does look like Truth Hoke is going to start working on the back end of Curtis Ecker. We'll keep an eye on that as well. Stephanie Fox there saying, go Jesse Fox. I will tell you, Stephanie, really impressed with Jesse. What he's been able to do is now Truth Hoke heavy into the wall back behind these drivers. Man, we have got some drivers. It looks like this next gen getting really tight here on the exit of these turns. Now Corey's starting to work on the back end of Truth. So we're going to have some comers and goers here. But Stephanie, to go back, Jesse's, proven to be a race winner. We've seen him put a couple of wins on the board here in some of these other leagues. It's only a matter of time here, Russ, before he picks up a next-gen win.
Yeah, Jesse's been pretty impressive himself, from what I've seen from him last year and so far this year. Coming out, he's being, fairly consistent and just kind of learning more and more each week as they go on.
Yeah, and it does look like Hoke is able to make that pass. Now he's going to get tight, and Curtis is going to stay in line. But now we've got a battle for the lead as McRae working on the back end of Pendel. Pendel getting a little tight on entry, and you can see McRae is really working that lower line. Just watch this entry speed here by this 27 car. He's able to get in and get some rotation, especially in 1 and 2. Not so much here in 3 and 4 as he's going to follow the tire tracks of that 94 machine, but it just looks like his entry speed's a lot better than Pendel's is right now.
Yeah, and it's really confusing here in New Hampshire because it's like a, it's like a doubled version of Martinsville in reality. It's a 1 mile flat paperclip basically, but both ends of the track are completely different when it comes to running styles, and it looks like that's going to be a proven factor here tonight as we see our first caution tonight, John.
First caution, it looks like Hayden Malcolm may be crashed. Let's see if we can go back and take a look at it as all these drivers starting to slow themselves down. Let's go back and take a look at what happened to this 91 car. And we saw him earlier into the wall. He's good. Oh, and it looks like he's just going to overcorrect coming out of 2. Yeah, he's going to try to get that back on track, Russ, and that's probably what created that caution there. So it looks like a 1 driver caution. Hayden getting that thing slowed back down. It looks like he's going to take that thing right over to the pits, as these drivers do have a fast repair. So let's see what happens right here. We are 20 laps in. We're certainly coming down and getting some tires, right, Russ?
Oh, definitely. I mean, tires are a premium here tonight, and I don't see anybody skipping out on tires any chance they get, especially under caution.
Yeah, I agree. And it does look like they are all going to come down. And you can see right now, Pendel is going to bring them down. McRae right behind him. Oh, 7-Eleven is in the wall. Trevor, and it looks like he's going to take that right to the pits. Maybe just missing that pit entry there.
Yeah, I think he just locked him up trying to come down pit road and spun himself back out onto the track. Tough break.
Yeah, that is a really tough break for that driver. Only 19 drivers are going to take this field tonight. Trevor being your 19th, now in the pits. So you got Mike Fudge there in 18th. He is in the pits. Rob Yost and it looks like maybe Hayden. But again, you do have a fast repair. So even for Trevor, he can come back from that, Russ. He just needs to get that fast repair and then get back on track before he loses a lap.
Yeah, the biggest thing that is going to hurt him is the towing time. I mean, he basically alt F4'd and towed back to the pits, and that towing time was what possibly could hurt him. But I mean, it may not hurt him too bad because even if he does go a lap down and when we get into the caution, he'll be the lucky dog and he'll be able to get that lap back.
Yeah, your best pit time right there under that caution was a Curtis Ecker down in pits at 14.37 seconds. So he was your fastest. I do believe he is going to gain a position. He's going to start off third. Now those lights already out on that pace truck as we are going to speed past this caution and get them right back to green. Pendel looks like he has chosen to take that outside line. Feels like that's going to be the better line here going into 1. But remember, Russ, he has the ability to start this anywhere he wants to in that Geico restart zone. And you have to make sure this new tire model that you do not spin those tires and you are putting that power down nice and evenly.
The biggest thing that we've seen so far with this new tire model is guys just kind of hammering that throttle on these starts and then just spinning out right to start finish line. So nice, easy throttle control on the start here. And we'll see if Chris can get himself a nice launch and get himself back out to the lead and start pulling away from James McRae again.
So here you go. We are inside that Geico restart zone. He has already hit that throttle. Fantastic jump by him. Truth Hoke now on the outside of McRae. He's going to try to hang there and pick up that second position. He's going to go wide. I believe McRae's going to clear him. So there you go. You got Pindell, McRae, and Hoke. Ecker's going to be right behind Corey with a bit of a wiggle. And that is going to allow Thomas to get there. But, man, we've got a battle for the lead already.
Yeah, almost a three-car battle here. Truth Hoke starting to sneak his nose in, looking to the outside of James McRae.
Yeah, and it looks like this is heating up right now. I believe McRae wants to get some points for leading some laps. He's tired of sitting by and behind this 94. He is going to start pushing a little harder, it seems like, on this green flag go. And Pindell now realizing that, it looks like he has put the pedal down, turning a 29.9 last lap to a 30.05 for your second place driver.
Yeah, Chris just trying to get himself back into a rhythm. Those cautions can very so easily get you out of rhythm. So it's important to get yourself back into a nice smooth rhythm once you go back to green. So get himself back into a nice smooth rhythm and start trying to pull away from James McRae again.
Yeah, Truth Hoke still working that outside line, and that gets him so close to the exit and the wall, but he is going to get a fantastic run here on McRae. He's going to slot himself right back in, but you can see Russ really taking that higher line, getting past that new pavement, trying to work that old pavement in. But I got to think, just like Ecker did right there on the exit of 4, it just gets you so close to that wall. You got to be careful on these exits.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you got to execute your corners to a T so that you make sure you don't do what Curtis Ecker just did there, get too tight coming off and slap that wall. Do that a couple too many times, man, it's going to hurt your car.
Yeah, and there he goes, Truth Hoke underneath of the 27, trying to get past McRae. He got a fantastic run down that straightaway. Now side by side, wheel to wheel, they're going to come through the start-finish line. Hoke down on the inside, McRae on the outside. Oh, and they're going to get tight and almost touch. Hoke is going to go up the track, push McRae up the track, and they are side by side, rubbing doors here at New Hampshire.
They're drag racing down the backstretch. We got that lap car of the 7-Eleven coming up here, so see what how that's going to play in. Hopefully he just kind of stays out of the way and lets these guys fight. Looks like Truth is trying to get clear of James McRae, just not able to do it quite yet.
Man, it does look like he is going to stay out of the way. Fantastic job by him. But Truth Hoke and James McRae, they are still side by side. You know McRae does not want to give this up, but Hoke just cannot get that car to turn. This continues to push McRae up the track. Now they're going to be side by side as McRae all over that quarter panel. Grand exit on 2 there, and he is going to get into 3, but Hoke, I think, is going to slide up right in front of McRae. Now the crossover.
You know what they say, John? 8 tires turn better than 4.
Man, we are fighting, and now Hoke had to let off with that crossover. That's going to open the door here for Ecker, but these drivers are going at it. The elbows are out. Now Jurgen down underneath of Thomas, and man, we have just a blanket over your top 7 drivers.
I said, these guys are fighting it out like it's the last 10 laps, and we still got 90 left to go.
Man, you gotta love to see it. Now Hoke is settling himself back in after that battle there with McRae. Ecker is going to be right behind, but I will tell you, a great mover is Jurgen right here. Jurgen, I think, has a ton of speed, and he is starting to work this as now Hoke is like, it almost seems he's running a diamond there, Russ, but all the way to the wall.
Yeah, it's kind of a different line, but it seems to be working. He's starting to run McRae back down now. Taking a look to the outside, coming through 3 and 4, try to get around McRae again. Not able to get it done, though.
Man, I will tell you, you know that Hoke was remembering that. It did look like, Hoke was really tight on that lower line trying to get that pass done. Now he's going to start working this outline. He has found something on the outside, especially on the entry of these turns. He is not letting McRae get away. You know McRae likes to settle in, save the tires, and run his race. And Hoke is just hounding him right now, and this is what it's all about here at Short Tracks. Yeah,
for sure. And you know who's loving this even more? Chris Pindell out in the lead, able to stretch this thing out. Say, keep battling, boys, so I can stretch this out even more.
Yeah, 7/10 is going to be your lead. Now we're going to fall back here and look at this 20 of Corey. under attack here by Troy Thomas. We saw Troy a little bit earlier on in this race. He was using the boards. Now it looks like he is starting to work his way back down to the bottom of the track. It's going to be a little bit of space between him and the 20, but now here comes that second place driver in your points of Andrew Teff starting to work on the back end of the 3.
Yeah, I was just going to say, at these short tracks, you can never count Andrew Teff out. I mean, didn't have the best qualifying run here tonight, so he's got to kind of come from the mid to back of the pack. But he is definitely he's what I call a short track dominator of Racers Elite. He loves these short tracks, and you can never count him out. And we still got a long way to go, so we might see him up front before this thing's over too.
Yeah, I cannot agree with you more, because he is probably sitting back, and that Andrew's thinking about fuel. He is talking about that fuel strategy. Now he is looking underneath of Troy. And man, it looks like those cars are just getting difficult to stick down to the bottom of that track. As Andrew dives down, he's going to try it again here. Let's see if he can stay down to the bottom now.
It seems like they want to wash up. See, like, oh, slide himself right up in front of Troy. But yeah, it just seems like if you try to go in on that low side, car just wants to get tight and wash up about a lane and a half. So, man, these guys not liking that bottom line right now.
Yeah, that slide job on this short track it looks like that is the move to go to, as we've seen that a few times now. Pindell still stretching that lead out, now almost a second over your second place driver there of James McRae. As we're going to kind of fold back here to the back, take a look at Jesse Fox. Jesse now in 13th. Gary Bowman is right there in 12th. It looks like Jesse all over the back end of the 29, and it looks like Jesse's working his way forward a little bit. He's gotten his feet underneath of him here, but this machine is moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, one of the biggest things about a track like this is the rhythm. I said it time and time again earlier on. You get yourself into a nice rhythm, and all of a sudden you start finding yourself more and more comfortable of, where's my car going? Where can I put it? And I know that it's going to stay. So, the more comfortable you get, the more, rhythmic you get in your car, you're going to start finding yourself moving forward. But yeah, great run so far tonight from Jesse.
Yeah, he is doing a fantastic job. Now, Gary Bowman, he is one of those drivers that is really calm and collected. So throughout the race, he's going to get a little quicker and a little quicker. I don't expect this to be any different, but we're going to go back up here and take a look at Ed Jurgen, because Ed is back under fire by Corey. Truth falling off of the back end of McRae, is McRae now starting to work his way back up to Pindell. It looks like Hoke still deciding to stay way, way high at this track, man. Oh, and there's McRae down loose.
He's in the inside wall, too. Man alive. No caution yet either.
Let's see if we can find him there. He is going to get going again. No caution on the track. McRae, let's go back and take a look, Russ, and see what happened. I bet it's just loose on exit. Yeah, it's got to be, right?
There we go. Yep.
Oh.
Man, tough break, James.
Hard impact. Now, what he's got to do is he's just got to keep himself. No, he's going to come down pit road and get that fast repair immediately. That is going to turn second place over to Truth Hoke. I just felt like maybe if James could have held on for a caution. Oh, man, what a huge turn of events. Now, again, that is going to put Pindell up. Not only, it was less than a second, now over 2 seconds, because it looks like Ed Jurgen is going to get past Truth Hoke. Truth still running that high line. Corey getting some speed. Now, Corey there in third, right behind Jurgen. So what we thought about with Ed, he is up 3 positions from his qualifying spot, now into second position with that tragedy there of James McRae.
Yeah, Ed, we've known him from in past events, of being really strong at these short tracks. So no surprise to see him up here. I mean, he was my pick to win the points championship this year. Unfortunately, learning that he's not going to be able to run in the playoffs and had to concede any position that he might make in there. So I'm out of the championship running, but great to see Ed having a nice strong run here tonight.
Man, and that he is doing, again, he has kind of taken that high line. I'm just very, very interested to see why some of these drivers decide to not stick that bottom and really work that tire wear. But this has got to be where these next gen cars enjoy running. Sometimes you don't force that car to run somewhere it shouldn't, but it looks like the 92 and Corey there in the 20, both of those drivers have worked their way forward, now in second and third. And even though Corey looks like he's coming on and catching Jurgen, these two drivers have really shown some great pace here later on in this run.
Yeah, for sure. It kind of looks like they're both kind of running, like you mentioned earlier, that slight diamond pattern. They kind of setting it in on that first and second lane, running it up to the third or fourth lane, then bringing it back down to the second or third lane. So maybe that slight diamond pattern has got something showing right now.
Yeah, 43 laps are already in the books. We're going to come across that start-finish line at 44 of your 120, and then we're going to go back and take a look here at the 98 machine of Andrew Teft. We know that he is a patient driver, and he is right now up 3 positions. So he started in 7th. He's worked his way up to 4th, and now he's starting to catch these two drivers as Corey continually putting some constant pressure here on Jurgen as you see smoke with these drivers going down this backstretch.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, Andrew Teft, always one you got to watch out for on these short tracks. I mean, didn't have that great of a qualifying run, but finding himself up here in P4 right now and looking to continue moving forward.
Yeah, it looks like Mike Fudge is your driver that has went down pit road, as you saw him there on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. But Corey all over the back end of the 92. The 92 of Ed Jurgen not running a defensive line, just running his line. Oh, and heavy into the wall is Curtis Ecker. That is going to give him some serious damage onto that car, and it looks like that right front might be struggling now with that impact.
Yeah, he definitely clobbered that wall, and I'm sure the steering wheel is not completely straight at this point. So see if he's going to try to fight this thing out until the next round of pit stops or the caution comes out. But definitely looking tighter in the corner now.
Man, that was a pretty heavy impact. We're going to continue to go back here now. Jesse Fox still all over the back end of Gary Bowman. These two drivers have not left each other alone since the drop of that green flag. Alex Gates right in front of them. And it does look like Jesse, nice turn, nice entry into all of these turns. Gary deciding to stay on that middle to middle high line on the entry. So looks like Jesse's gaining a lot of ground there, Russ, on entry, but he's losing it on the exit.
That looks like he's probably just driving it in a little harder than what Gary is, and losing it on that exit because he's got to whoa it down just a little bit more. But something, it's just surprising me here, John, is Rob Yost is still trying to run that apron. I'm not really sure again if that's going to be some kind of a benefit, but he is still down there trying to make that apron work.
Man, and he is definitely doing it. He is right now sitting in that 13th position. Maybe is waiting for those tires to come in, but you can see Aaron Marquis is behind him, and obviously you've got McRae. Heartbreak spin there. He is a lap down in between Yost and Marquis, but it does look like he is back on the track. He has got that fast repair done. 50 laps in, so there's still plenty of time for him because right now he is in that lucky dog spot. But yeah, it's just odd to see Rob so far below that white line as all of these other drivers, it seems like they're struggling to even get the car to go down there.
Yeah, that's completely baffling to me. I mean, and he's been doing this, since, what was it, like about lap 7 or 8? So, I mean, it's just something that he's kind of dedicated himself to at this point. And, it's just unorthodox, but it's fine. I mean, if he's finding the solace down there, man, run the apron.
And, man, if you like it, who are we to tell you don't?
Exactly.
So there you go, Pindell. Now starting to shift. You can see he is in third gear. And let's just see if we can go on board with him here, Russ. And we just want to listen to him. Yep, he is shifting now at every corner. And I believe that would have been my strategy from the very beginning. Make sure that I shift, get that car to rotate over. I'll worry about the exit when I get to the exit. But it does look like he has taken full advantage of that car downshifting. Now staying in fourth gear here, 1 and 2.
To see if he drops it back down to third here again through 3 and 4.
Yeah, he is searching. You can see that fourth gear. Now he's going to downshift. You can see what that fourth gear does to you. Just gets you really pushy on the entry of that turn. Let's see what Ed Jurgen's doing.
I was saying, but I mean, Chris is making it work because he's extended this lead by almost another second. That gap is almost up to 3 seconds now.
Yeah, Jurgen's playing with that throttle, trying to get this thing figured out. Yeah, he is downshifting both sides of this track. Now just right at that 3 second mark. It looks like they're almost mirroring each other's lap times now. These two are the fastest two outside of James McRae on the track. James McRae with those fresh tires is about half a second faster than both of these drivers. But here you go, Curtis Ecker now all over the back end of Troy Thomas. Now this is a battle here for 5th position.
Yeah, I think Troy just got around Curtis. I was just going to say, I think we need to go back and take a look at Troy Thomas because he's been slowly but methodically working his way up here towards the front of the pack, currently up to P5 right now.
Well, let's see how this happened here. We have got a replay for you. Little green on a black crime. Both of these drivers running very, very similar paint schemes. It looks like Troy just able to rotate the bottom really well. Ecker holding on strong to the outside there of 4. And I believe this is where you're going to see it as that car continues to push up in that 8 machine, and that 3 able to get that pass done and slide right up in front of him.
Yeah, great laps there by, we got one in the wall hard in the inside on the front stretch. Not sure who that was. I think it was, might have been Dennis Kane in the 4. But yeah, great pass there by Troy, and like I said, he's kind of working his way up.
Yeah, let's see if we can find out what happened to Dennis here. Now, underneath the Dennis is the 81. Dennis taking that high line. Alex Gates right below him. Everything looks good here.
I wonder if Dennis just gets loose coming out of 4 here. And
he is way up in those marbles, you know, when you're up there. Oh, he's going to get clipped by Gates.
Got the hook.
Man, the 77 just getting tight on the exit. Those two are going to get into each other. And, man, that is going to do it for Dennis Kane. Dennis Kane has taken that car down the pit road 57 laps in, so he cannot make this thing on fuel here, Russ. So he is about 3 to 4 laps short of that. But now it looks like both of these drivers are on the march, the 3 and the 8, side by side, getting past the 20 now. Corey sliding back there to that 6th position. But, man, it just looks like Pendel on another planet. We saw him do this at Indy. Doing it again here at New Hampshire. Has that 94 machine on a rail here, 3.5 seconds up over Andrew Teff now, who has gotten by Ed Jurgen.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Andrew's working his way up there. I mean, he just got by that 92, and like I said, short track dominator, man. I mean, you can't count him out. But Chris running a great race here again tonight. Again, just kind of getting into his own rhythm and just setting sail and not really focus too much on that mirror. But Pendel having another great night here tonight.
Yeah, he really is. Now we'll see where these lap times are. We'll keep an eye on it for you. But let's go right back here as now Hoke trying to get underneath of the 20 of Corey. It looks like Corey has just fallen off those tires, gotten overheated, and he is struggling to get some turn. And truth again, it just seems like that 55 machine is just having difficulty staying underneath the drivers without pushing right there and getting door to door with them.
Yeah, and I've seen the 55 kind of clobber the wall a couple of times, so I'm sure he's a little extra tight from potential wheel damage from slapping the wall so many times. But yeah, it just seems like he's not able to stick that car down there into that second lane and just keeps washing up.
Yeah, and it looks like now Corey is starting to get worked over by Mike Fudge. Now, Mike has went down the pit road. He's got some fresh tires on that car. You'll see him go by Truth Hoke right now as he is 5 laps down from the field. But you see right behind these drivers, it looks like that McRae is starting to pop into the picture. Now, again, McRae 1 lap down. Really, Russ, if he can get his lap, if they can throw a caution and he is the lucky dog, it changes his entire race here.
Yeah, I mean, and if not, I mean, he's going to get the lap back when when these leaders are going to have to come down for green flag pit stops if we don't get a caution. But it's going to be a completely different cycle for James. I mean, he's going to end up pitting earlier on his next attempt, and you're going to end up going back a lap down. So McRae really going to need a caution here to try to get himself back into this fight.
Yeah, and it looks like Jurgen now getting under attack here from Troy Thomas. We talked about this a little bit earlier. Troy, and Jurgen is going to get extremely tight on the entry of that turn. That is going to open the door not only for Thomas, and now he's going to get tight again, but Curtis Ecker as well as these green and black cars staying nose to tail, working their way through the field. They got by Hoke. They got by Corey, now taking over that 3rd and 4th position from Jurgen. So in 1 lap, Russ, he goes from 3rd spot down to 5th.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, the black and lime green is the fastest race colors you could have. These guys are on the march forward, and they're coming together.
Yeah, Jurgen's still taking that extremely long entry. And when you take that entry into 3 and 4, it's just going to be hard to rotate that car in the center of that turn. He's doing much better here in 1 and 2, but you can see right in the center of that turn, he is just continually struggling to get that car to rotate down. As now, it looks like your driver here of Pendel just about 3 to 4 tenths a second faster than every car out here on the track. He turned a 31.07. Your next fastest was Thomas at a 31.2, but your second place driver there, Russ, he's about 4 tenths of the lap slower.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was one thing I was going to ask you, John. You know, I mean, you're the racing expert here. You're the all-time winner. You know, when you're leading and you've got this big of a gap, is it a little easier for you to turn laps knowing you've got that gap, and these guys are going to have to turn it up to try to catch you? I mean, I have a feeling that that's kind of where Chris's mind is right now. Like, okay, these guys are going to have to really fight to catch me, so I'm just going to run my laps.
Yeah, it's a really good question, and I think if you're used to leading a lot of laps, when you get out and you got to when you get out and you've got to lead like Pendel does, you can be a little bit softer on entry, and you can be a softer on your apexes, and you make sure that you hit your marks because they've got to come and get you. And if you're 3.6, 3.7 seconds back, you can give up a second, 8, maybe even 2 seconds before it starts to get dangerous to save tires. So Andrew is the one that has to chase. He has to be the racehorse. Pendel is the rabbit, and sometimes the racehorse gets more tired than the rabbit does. And I think that's what's happening right now is Pendel, he can run his own pace and run his race because he doesn't have to catch anybody. And that's where Teft and all of the other drivers are right now is, what can I do to catch Pendel?
Yeah, that's exactly the way I was thinking of it. It's just kind of like it kind of eases your mind just a little bit as a driver, allowing you to take those corners with a little bit more ease, not really having to push yourself and force the car to do stuff that you don't want it to do. It's like, just let these guys battle it out, burn their stuff up trying to catch me, and I'm just coasting out here.
Yeah, because even if they run this, so last lap it looked like Teft a little bit quicker than Pendel. It doesn't really matter, Russ, because right now Pendel can hit his marks and he can play within a margin, because by the time Andrew has to drive outside of that margin to catch him. So by the time Andrew were to get there, Pendel has saved all of that tire lap after lap by playing inside of margins that Andrew had to drive above. So now Pendel has more tire and he just starts to sneak away a little more. Now, what can change that is a caution or a really bad pit entry. Here at New Hampshire, you can lose seconds trying to get into that pit, or you can gain it if you've been practicing your pit entries. Now we see Curtis Ecker. He is going to be your first driver down pit lane from that top 5 now, getting service, because now he can make it to the end here with about 50 laps to go.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I'm kind of surprised to see Curtis coming down. I mean, what I figured to be just a little bit early. I mean, I know we came down right around lap 20, and given the information that I was told earlier on, they could have made it, about another 10 laps before having to come down. But given the circumstances, if you can make it to the end, might as well be that first one down and try to leapfrog some guys here.
Yeah, absolutely. It does look like, I'll tell you, another fast driver out here on the track right now is this 3-car. Troy Thomas has really found some speed later on in this run. You can see he's working the bottom of the track too, which is really good to see, but he has run down Andrew Teft, and he was a little bit quicker than your leader that last lap. So Troy Thomas looks like he has found something. Again, Rush, you can see him coming in low, allowing that thing to come up, as now he is going to come into the pits, and that, Russ, was a great pit entry. You've seen that later entry, using the banking to slow the car down. Fantastic job as Ed Jurgen now going to follow him down the pit road.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've been talking about it. That 3 of Troy Thomas really found something at the later stage of that run there, and really drove his way all the way up there to P3. And going to be interesting to see if he can hold on to that and maybe find something a little bit extra come the end of this race. Try to potentially get himself up there to try to battle Chris for this win.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's happening to Chris in races like this, the race at Indy, is Chris is really learning how to lead and how to be out front and how to strong arm a race. And what I mean by that is you get to control this thing. You get to control when people go on to pit road. You get to control when you decide to go on to pit road. You get to control the overall pace of this race. If he comes out and starts putting up blistering lap times, and then Tef sees those seconds start to blend away, he's going to have to push. So you get to control the pace of this race based on your racing style. And that's where Chris is really starting to get a lot of lessons in this. He did it at Indy. He is doing it right here, where he can get sucked into his rhythm and his pace, and everybody has to race against him. And as it looks like now, when is he going to come down pit road? Because Teft isn't down, but Troy Thomas is going to be out here turning about 5 to 7 tenths a lap faster than all of these drivers that are staying out.
Yeah, and as somebody like Chris, you've got this big of a lead. I know the one thing that would be going through my mind right now is I would really like a caution, because I would not want to risk missing pit road or having something happen trying to come down for a green flag pit stop. I mean, you've got this big of a lead, and to give it up with a pit road mistake, would be absolutely detrimental. I see something happen to Andrew Teft back there, John.
Yes, something definitely happened. Now he is coming down. I mean, he's almost taken the road course pit entry. So let's see. We're going to have to hard wire this reversal, but let's see what happened to Teft. He had to have gotten loose here at some point. Yeah, he did.
Look, he got into the wall and then tried to correct it, and didn't get quite to get into the wall, but it got loose. I'm almost going to get into the wall.
Wow, what a save in that next gen car, because sometimes this car is one of the hardest cars to come back from that. Oh, and now it looks like Hoke is going to slide through his stop and have to back up. I will tell you, all of this bodes really well for this driver right here in this 94 car. Andrew Teft was your second place driver, making that big mistake, and I believe that is going to hurt him. Now, Truth Hoke coming out, he slid through his pits. So really, I think this is going to come down to a Pendale race to lose if this thing goes green the rest of the way. And really a Troy Thomas in second, and a second place for him to lose if he just keeps everything straight and nice the rest of this run.
Yeah, I mean, once that happened to Andrew, it was the biggest thing of, all right, take your time getting onto pit road now, because you just went from, a 3.7 second lead all the way to over a 10-second lead from that car behind you. So it was really take your time, be patient getting onto pit road, get a clean pit stop, and get yourself out of here with a really, really large lead that you can maintain over the rest of this race if we stay green.
Yeah, it looks like that is exactly what's happened. Now, Ecker is going to be slightly in front of Pendale here, as now Hoke is starting to work underneath of Yost. And then Hoke, I believe he is going to come out about 13th. Again, he slid through those pits and had to back that off. But Curtis Ecker, I believe, was your first driver down pit road. Now, he is not going to have the benefit of fresh tires. I think Pindell's going to get by him pretty quickly, but if Ecker wants to be a thorn in Pindell's side, that's going to hurt him, because I will tell you, Russ, you see that 3 car right behind that 94? That is Troy Thomas, not too far off of Pindell here.
Yeah, I'm really surprised to see those gaps so small. I really would have thought that there would have been a bigger gap for the lead here, but I mean, we know Curtis Ecker came in about 3 to 5 laps before Chris, so Chris is going to dismantle this lead right now. But for Troy to be right there in the thick of this thing, from being well over 4 seconds behind the leader at the time of pit stops, that just shows you what a great pit stop that Troy had, and it's going to be interesting to watch him get up here and battle for this lead.
Yeah, because it does look like that lead is still now. Kirby Wainscott is your leader on the track right now before he comes down pit road, but Curtis Ecker does not want to give this thing up. Now, Ecker is going to shoot down to the bottom. Pindell running really high, getting very, very pushy here on these tires, and now Ecker is going to come off. They are battling, and Troy Thomas loves to see this because he can just sit back and save some tires as these two drivers just slug it out here for that second position.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we obviously know, Kirby's going to have to come down pit road. So this is a battle for your top 3 right here. Looks like Kirby's finally, looks like Curtis is finally going to back off just a little bit here. Chris is finally going to start to stretch this just a little bit, but Troy, like I said, he fought a lot of speed towards the end of that last run, and he's hoping to find more of the same come the end of this run, give himself a chance to win this race.
Yeah, I think Pindell wants to see this thing go green. I believe Troy wants to see this thing go green. McRae wants a caution. He's sitting in 4th, but we know he's got a pit, and he has some really old tires. He's going to fall right back to Jurgen. As a matter of fact, Jurgen, underneath the marquee, you can see that 27 car right in front of the 92. Corey in that 20, he is right there as well. So it won't be long before they work their way past McRae, who had to come down, get that fast repair. And you can see Teft really, if you think about it, Russ, not a ton lost. He still has a shot here, really at a top 4, top 5 finish if he can really turn some fantastic laps on the back end of this race.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and as these laps wind down and the closer that this race comes to the end, these guys aren't going to be giving each other quite as much room. So we may not be done with the cautions either, which still puts this race in just about anybody's hands that's up front.
Yeah, and you can see now Jurgen getting around those older tires there of the 27. He's going to get that pass done. Now, what that is going to do is put Corey on the back end of the 27, and then you can see Teft right there in that 98. He has a lot of driving he is going to have to do. So he is up on that wheel, trying to get what he can. But again, has a shot at a top 5. I believe he's going to be fairly safe in a top 5. He's going to get by McRae, and that would put him, so Corey there in 5th. That's going to put Andrew right here in 6th as he gets by. Yeah, and he's going to make that pass right now and slide right up in front of McRae. And now right on the back end here of the 20.
Yeah, I think Corey came down pit road just a little bit earlier too than what Andrew did, so Andrew might have a couple lap pressure tires, so he may be able to dismantle Corey just fairly quickly once he gets to him here. But obviously Corey just kind of scraping the wall there, going to give Andrew the run on the inside.
Yeah, nothing I don't think that 20 car can do. And now another slide job here by Teft. He is going to get right in front of the 20. That pass is being done, so now you've got Teft up to 5th. Jurgen's right there in 4th. Now, these drivers are about 3.5 seconds back from Thomas and Curtis Ecker. So Curtis is about a second behind Pindell. I think Pindell's got this thing locked down as Thomas now about 3 seconds behind Pindell. So Russ, even if he is able to start turning some quicker lap times here in 10, 15 laps, it's just going to be a little too late for that driver to be able to catch Pindell, who has just been on a rail tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just kind of another dominating performance here by the 94 tonight. I mean, like I said, I talked to him earlier on. He didn't sound very confident in his abilities to get around this track tonight. Was not comfortable at all in the car, but he's obviously gotten himself comfortable now because he has been just dominating this race tonight, showing these guys that he showed up to play.
A lot of shifting going on now, even earlier on in these tire runs, and I think that is because you come down with plenty of fuel. You're going to make that minimum about 3 laps. You're going to give yourself about 3-lap gap cushion if you were to go green-white-checker here, just in case. But these drivers have plenty of fuel, so now it's just downshift, get that thing rotated, and start putting that throttle down as soon as you possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, for somebody like, Curtis Ecker, he came down with about 50 laps to go. We talked about the fuel run being, 55 to 60 laps. So, anybody that pitted with, Curtis or after, I mean, they've got more than enough fuel for Green-White-Checker, possibly 2. So we are definitely good to the end here, and we've got coming to 30 laps to go.
Yeah, 30 laps are now about 90, 91 when we cross that start-finish line, so we'll have 29 to go. And it looks like Teft is working on 92. And let's think about this. This isn't the best relationship out here on the track. Now, not to drive some additional drama here, Russ, but, we saw these two drivers kind of tangle, arm wrestle a little bit at the earliest of this season, about the first or second race in. So, we want to make sure we've got a tighter car in the 92, fighting to stay in that top 4. And then we got, your second place driver here in the points, and he really wants that 4th position.
Yeah, I mean, somebody like Andrew, I mean, he's gonna, he's kind of looking for, a really solid points day, try to help close himself in, on James, because I mean, I think it was only like a 9-point deficit between James and Andrew for this points battle. So, I mean, if, with the unfortunate, we see Andrew get into the Jurgen, put him in the wall. Andrew's in the wall. We've got some bad blood brewing, it looks like.
Man, the drama is still going to continue now. Andrew Teft is going to get by, but getting into the back of Jurgen there in that 92 machine, putting Jurgen right into the wall. Jurgen's going to have some pretty heavy right front damage, so I don't know if that was a tightness there, or maybe that was just kind of some get back from a little bit earlier on in the season. But we might have foreshadowed that, Russ. And man, I'll tell you, what's some fantastic broadcasting right there.
I was just going to say, you got the broadcaster's curse, but I think you just kind of spoke that into existence, my friend.
That definitely happened. He was all over the back end there of that 92. And now that 92 does look like he is going to have some damage on the right front of that car, so he is going to fall back into the clutches of the 20 machine. Don't know how bad that damage is going to affect him, but with these longer straightaways, it's certainly going to be something, and it does look like Jurgen is going to start struggling to get this car around this track here. Oh, and he's going to get in the wall again, and I think that would, Russ, might have done that right front end.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely got some damage. You can see the crinkle in the bodywork there right behind that right front tire. He is definitely struggling right now.
Let's see if he's going to go down pit road now. I do believe that he has a fast repair right there in the bank. We'll see what happens and if he decides to stay out. But it does look like that right front tire turning almost right as he's going through the turns. He's going to get extremely close on the exit of 4.
Man, definitely fighting some very tight conditions right now.
Yeah, I think 25 to go. He's just going to try to hang on. He's got about, what is that? It looks like 7 seconds ahead of Alex Gates. So I think he's just going to try to hang on to this thing, bring this home with a 6th place position. But it does look like that right front tire is struggling.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, he's definitely not as comfortable right now, but I mean, it would just kind of hang on and maintain and bring this home in a P6. I'm sure he'd be not exactly happy with the 98, but I mean, he'd be happy to bring it home at least with a 6th place finish, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's the A to Curtis Ecker. We saw him come down. He was the first driver down, and I really would think he is with 22 laps to go, 23 now, that he has kind of done a great job at maintaining those tires throughout this run, but it looks like that wear is starting to get to him. 23 laps to go. Now the 3 starting to catch up to the back end, but both of these drivers, I mean, 2.5 seconds behind Pendel. Thomas is 3.2 seconds behind Pendel. That 94 has just been on another planet.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, having another, like I said, another great dominating performance like he had at Indy, a couple of weeks ago. But I'm really surprised that Curtis has been able to kind of hold his own. Like I said, I think he came in about 3 to 5 laps before Troy, and Troy just not really been able to do much with him here so far since that pit stop.
Yeah, 3.4 now your gap. Let's see if we can go back here and take a look at Truth. So Truth is working on the Alex Gates. Alex extremely tight there on the exit of 2. Gary Bowman behind these 2 drivers. So this is going to be a battle for quite some time, as now Truth trying to work his way back up, and he's going to get tight and get into the 77.
It seems like the 55 is still having that same problem he's had almost all race long. Not able to really keep that thing glued to the bottom and wash it up the track about a lane or two and try to really use it. Oh, you see him really send it in there. Really using up these other cars.
Yeah, he undershot Marquis. It looked like Marquis might have been off pace on the entry of that turn. Not certain what happened to the 41, but Truth taking that opportunity to put somebody behind in between him and Gates. But it just looks like Truth has decided to work that really high line and get him a good run off. But man, it looks like it almost kills him when he's trying to get down underneath of these cars and make these passes.
Yeah, just not able to keep that 55 glued to the bottom. I mean, like I said, he's washing up 2 lanes every time he's forced to go to the bottom. I mean, I'm sure he's way more comfortable up there in the top, but I mean, if other guys are up there, they're not going to let him just have that lane, so he's going to have to get it done on the bottom. And man, right now that car is not comfortable down there.
Yeah, and it looks like now this battle for second heating up. Now, if you're Ecker, Troy's running you down here, Russ. This is where the intelligence versus the ego has to come in. You now have a 3-second gap on Andrew Teft. You don't want to do anything crazy and put yourself in a bad position. How hard, if you're Curtis Ecker, am I racing Troy Thomas?
I mean, honestly, we got to know that we've got a couple lap more worn tires. We're out here, we're points racing. Don't really have a chance right now of catching that 94. If that 3 car gets to me, I'm just gonna kind of maybe not quite race them as hard and bring my car home in one piece in P3.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I think if I'm Ecker, I'm just saying with 17 to go, my battle right now is not with Troy Thomas. My battle is with that 98 car. And so if I can just get Troy past me and I can try to focus on my lap times and not slow both of us down. Now, let's see if we can keep an eye on these lap times. Your faster car overall last lap was Troy Thomas at a 30.86. So here we go. Side by side, it looks like Troy with a great run off of that turn. You can see Andrews in the background, but it looks like Curtis is choosing to put up a battle. And as he does it, Pendel gets further away and Tef gets closer and closer.
Yeah, I mean, the longer you battle on, the longer you risk losing more than what you really need to lose. I mean, you let that 3 car by, tuck in behind him, follow him around. Maybe if he makes a mistake, then you can capitalize and get that spot back. But no sense in slowing you both down, allowing that 98 car to catch you and potentially, cost yourself a position or 2 by the end of this race.
Yeah, you do have a top 3 on the line, but he is the driver and we are not, so he is able to fight all that he can. So 15 laps to go. Now, what was 3.5 seconds just a few laps ago, now over 4 seconds is your gap. This is what Pendel wants to see. These 2 drivers fighting, but what it has done is it allowed that 98 car to close in even more. Now within 2 seconds, 1.8 is going to be the gap between Teft and Troy Thomas. So Troy needs to get by. underneath of the 8. He is going to start looking. He's got a lot of rotation in the center of these turns. It's helping him out a lot, but now you can see this battle has really started to work in Andrew Teft's favor.
I mean, you keep seeing that gap just slowly get lower and lower and lower as Andrew's just slowly starting to catch both of these guys. And like I said, this is not what you want to see if you're Curtis Ecker or Troy Thomas.
Yeah, Curtis really starting to struggle with the handle. He cannot get that car to stay down. He is staying on that high line. And it's a good, nice defensive line, but what it has done is it has really brought the 98. Oh, and now he's going to get in the wall. So Curtis Ecker into the wall. But, man, it doesn't look like it slowed him down at all. So the 3 machine working on the back end. Both of these cars slowly backing up here to Teft. Teft about 1.5 seconds as now McRae gets around Teft on those fresh tires. So a little bit of breathing room here for these 2 green and black machines.
Yeah, I mean, if I was, I would think if I was Troy, I would have to, start thinking. I mean, we're coming to 10 to go here. I mean, I've either got to do something or I need to be able to try to make sure that I can try to maintain this gap and not really try to battle Curtis and just settle into this P3 just to keep this gap to Andrew about the same as what it is so that he doesn't have that chance to come up and catch us.
Yeah, and it does look like now Curtis Ecker started to put a bit of a distance on that 3 car because it does look like maybe the 3 got those tires hot and he's cooling it down. He's going to make another run as Jason McRae on those fresh tires is going to start working his way around Thomas. But now Ecker has a bit of breathing room from Thomas, and now he has to start worrying about Andrew Teft as Andrew's still working his way up to these drivers as now they start to navigate this lap traffic.
Yeah, we see Curtis just ever so slightly starting to pull away from that 3 there, but you can see that 98 getting a little closer and a little closer and a little closer. James McRae really not trying to force the issue too much with the 3 there, but might be a good thing for him.
Yeah, especially for position here, Russ, with 8 laps to go, but he is now going to get underneath. He can't wait any longer. The 98 is now there. Pendel 5 seconds up over these drivers. Looked like Troy was able to get back to the bumper of Ecker. Now this might open the door here for Troy. Let's see what happens if Troy's going to try to follow McRae through, and he very well might be able to do that.
Yep. I was just going to say, that's exactly what he needs to do. Let McRae go and follow him right through the corner and try to make this pass on Ecker because look, right behind you, boys, it's that 98. He's coming for you.
And there he goes, the slide job there by Thomas, getting around Curtis Ecker. Now Ecker has to start fending off this 98 machine here for a podium spot with 7 laps to go. I think Troy, with a little bit of clean air, is going to start walking away from both of these drivers. Now Ecker into the wall. Man, this is starting to get tight here as we come down to the finish of this race.
Yeah, you got to remember, Ecker's on a couple lap older tires than what everybody else is. So right now, he's going to have to go into defensive mode with those older tires. But I don't know how much defensive maneuvering he could do because that 98's to his inside.
Now, he was able to hold Troy off for a while. Can he do the same thing? And I don't believe he can. The 98 with some great turn on the exit put him up to 3rd position now. So now you have got Pendel with about 5.5 second gap. Then you've got Thomas, and right behind Thomas is Andrew Teft. So the battle here is quickly going to be for that 2nd position as Pendel has put everybody in his rearview mirror, and he is gone.
Yeah, no looking back for Pendel. Now, five laps to go. I mean, he could lose a second a lap. I mean, he's just got to coast this thing and bring it home, not push the issue. And all this battle here for seconds between Troy Thomas and Andrew Teft is what's going to heat up. But I think it might be a little too late for anybody else to get up there and battle for a podium.
Yeah, and Truth Hope getting by Corey now. That is going to put Truth into the 6th position. Ed Jurgen able to hang on. You can see him right in front of those drivers. There's 4 laps to go, so we saw that earlier damage there with him and Teft getting into it. Now it looks like he is going to try to hold these two drivers off and capture that top 5 position. But, man, I don't know, Russ, with that damage, I don't know if he can do it.
Yeah, I mean, and Truth is kind of coming, and I mean, I know there's a little bit of bad blood between Truth and Ed too from earlier in this season, so it's going to be really interesting if Truth happens to get there, what may happen in that instance too.
3 laps to go, folks, as we come down to the wire on this thing. Andrew Teft is right there now. Rob Yost is not coming out of the pits. That's just the line that he prefers to run. But Troy Thomas is in front, and this is for your second position. Andrew Teft right behind him, about 3 car lengths, as now Andrew's starting to rotate the center much, much better in these turns than what Troy Thomas is. 2 laps now to go as Chris Pendel, again, 5.5 seconds up on these drivers. Curtis Eckert now falling off of the back end of these drivers. Now Truth Hoke looks like he is all over the back end here of Ed Jurgen. This is going to be for a top 5 position.
Like I said, a little bit of bad blood I remember from earlier in the season between these two. We know Truth's been really tight, able to keep it rotated on the bottom there this time. Going to get to run side by side down the back straightaway.
Man, he has gotten that pass done. Now your final lap as Christopher Pendel is on cruise control, almost 5 seconds ahead. Now here we come. Andrew Teft wants every bit of this 3 machine. He's going to have a fantastic run now. It looks like Troy's going to get loose. He's going to stay down to the bottom. This is the preferred line. Smart drive here by Troy.
Stay down, run that defensive line on the bottom, make them pass you on the high side. We're going to have a drag race coming out of turn 4 for P2, John.
And it does look like Teft is going to be able to get that pass done there on Troy Thomas. That is for your second and third position, but the man of the hour right now is this 94 machine just putting on a show. Really right from the very beginning, just taking it to all of these drivers out here. 4.5, almost 5 second gap to your second and third place drivers. I thought there might have been a bit of a race there toward the end, but that did not happen.
Yeah, Chris just, again, on a rail all night long. Showed that dominance from the drop of the green flag, starting P2 outside of the front row and getting that great jump on the initial start of the race and being able to clear pole sitter James McRae going into turn 1, coming out of turn 2, and just set sail and never look back from there.
Man, so that is your winner there. Christopher Pendel. Andrew Teft is going to be second. Troy Thomas right there in third. Curtis Eckert in fourth. Truth Hoke in fifth. Ed Jurgen is going to wind up in sixth. Corey is going to be in seventh. Gary Bowman in eighth. Alex Gates in ninth. 10th is going to be Jesse Fox.
And then Ira going to end up coming home with a P11. Great run by Ira here tonight. James McRae earlier, that unfortunate incident earlier, never able to rebound, get another caution, get that lap back. He's going to come home in P12. Rob Yost, the apron runner himself tonight, going to come home in P13. Then Kirby Wainscott in 14th, Dennis Kane in 15th. Aaron Marquis is going to come home in 16th. And then Trevor, Mike, going to be 17th. And 18th, and then Hayden is going to round out the field in 19th.
All right, so there you go, folks. That is your finishing positions for all of these drivers. Now let's see if we can go back and take a look and get a couple of your top 3 drivers here in chat. And let's see if we can find them and if they are ready to have a conversation with us. It looks like we do have your third place driver here of Troy Thomas, so let's see if we can pull him in the booth. Troy, this is John and Russ in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, man, it looked like you had a really nice little hot rod there about middle of that race. One of the faster cars on older tires. I believe right before that last pit stop, you were the fastest car out there on the track. Thought when you come out, you might have had something from Pendel. Looks like he was just on a different planet tonight, but really nice race and drag race between you and the 98 there coming to the checkered flag.
Yeah, I kind of hit the wall. Tried to knock the wall down off of 2 on that final lap. I was like, crap. So I said, just have to give it for all I've got, all it's worth, and not wreck both of us. So, hey, I'll take a 30 any day of the week.
Yeah, and it looked like Curtis come in a bit early, about 3 or 4 laps earlier than everyone else did. Really played in his favor there for most of that last run. He was able to keep the tires pretty cool. Gave you some fits there. Looked like you had about a 2-second gap on the 98. Gave you some fits. Really had a nice defensive line on that outside. But man, it looked like you guys were really together throughout that race, working your way through that field.
Yeah, it seemed like we was attached to the hip, that's for sure. Well, I noticed he was shifting almost the whole tire race, and I was not. I wanted to save my tires until probably 10 to go. Then that's when I started shifting. I said if I was patient, didn't have no mistakes like I normally do, I'll have a good finish, and that's what happened tonight.
Well, a great finish you did, my friend, coming home in third position. Congratulations there, Troy, and we'll turn it over to you, man. Let you give you shout outs.
All right, well, congrats to the race winner, Chris, on another win for the Misfits. Thank you guys for broadcasting this, and Andrew for everything he does, all those different leagues he's got going on. I'm sure that's a headache sometimes, but thank you to Andrew for putting this on, and my teammates, Truth, Aaron, Jesse, Alex is in there with us tonight, everybody, Chris, of course, and my wife for letting me do this, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, heck of a job. Great way to bring home a podium finish. We hope to talk to you in the same spot or maybe even a few spots better next week.
Yeah, thank you. I'm making a habit of this. This is 2 weeks in a row now.
It's fantastic. All right, congratulations, Troy.
Thank you. I'll see you later.
See you. All right, so there is your third place driver. Let me see if I can pull Andrew up, and then we will let you have a quick conversation with him, Russ. Andrew, this is John and Russ in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you. Hey, man, we know all too well how you are with these short tracks, and I told everybody not to count you out of it tonight, even though you may not have had the qualifying run you were hoping for, and kind of started in the middle part of this pack tonight. But man, later on in this race, you really found something and really worked your way up there. Take us back through your race and what kind of mentality you had is like, how am I going to find something to work my way up towards the front?
Yeah, I kind of found some speed throughout the race. It got a little bit more comfortable to shift. I don't know if the pace slowed down from practice or something, but it wasn't that comfortable shifting in practice. But in the race conditions, it was not upsetting, or not as upsetting to the car. So I was able to kind of use some engine brake on entry to save some brake, maybe some temperature, and get a nice, straight quick launch with the extra acceleration off the corners. I tried to leave it in fourth just to see what that would do also, and it just felt really boggy, a lot more boggy than practice.
Yeah, that was one thing that I was kind of surprised though. We went on board with a couple of guys here tonight, and seeing them running fourth and then downshifting into third, and I was like, man, I know when I ran, I was always too scared to downshift into third because you start downshifting past fourth, and then you risk looping it if you don't get the timing just right. But man, you found something, made it happen, and then you had a great battle there with Troy on that last lap, drag racing down the front stretch to get that second place finish here tonight. And man, you really showed up and showed out. And I mean, nobody showed up and showed out more than Chris, obviously, tonight. Just another dominating performance, but heck of a run by you, working your way up from the middle there and up there and get yourself a P2. So, man, great race tonight, and we'll go ahead and turn it over to you and let you give any shout outs.
Yeah, Troy's a good friend. So that was a lot of fun. I had to go. I went and made sure I didn't touch him off too there. It looks like he just got loose, and I actually touched the wall a little bit. But yeah, it was a fun drag race. And yeah, I want to say congrats to Chris, another dominating performance. I almost lost it off too, and lost a bunch of time on him when I was trying to figure out that shift that I was talking about. So luckily saved it and didn't get any EOL for bringing out a caution or anything, and just raced back as far as I could. But yeah, really kicked ass tonight, and want to thank our servicemen and women, friends, family, everybody that tunes in to watch, shows up to race. And if you're interested in checking us out, hit that. Head on over to racerselite.com. You can find all of our info there, schedule, standings, and I want to thank you guys too for helping out in the booth.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we talk about it all the time. These guys here, they run damn near every night of the week. They always got something going on here at Racers Elite, so make sure you go over and give them a check out if you're interested in finding a league to run in. got a lot of good guys here in this league, and it's all thanks to you, Andrew. So, man, congrats tonight on another nice or solid night and a solid P2 performance. It's going to really help you in the points too, I think, because with all the trouble that James McRae had earlier out of this race, it might bump you back up and put you right back in this battle. I mean, I think it was only about a 9-point gap coming into the night, so put yourself right back in the championship battle.
Yeah, it looks like he might have done the same thing I did off 2 there. I was spinning the wheels in 3 coming off the corner. Saw him lose it there. I don't know if he got into somebody or what, but yeah, it was a heck of a ride. So we'll have to plug in the points here and see how it looks.
Yeah, for sure. I think he just got loose off the corner and just not able to get it corrected and put it nose deep into the inside wall. But incidents like those is what helps you out in the points, and had a solid points day. Good finish tonight, and hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to you again here next week, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right, so there is your second place driver of Andrew Teft. Now let's see if we can bring the man of the hour into the booth here, and that is Mr. Pendel. Let's see if we can.
We know
bring
he's
him
going to
in.
be excited.
Yes, he is. Chris, this is John and Russ in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, man, it looked like from the very drop of the green flag, you kind of had something for these other drivers. Started on the outside pole, took that lead early, and man, it just looked like you set sail really fast, even on the fresh tires through the middle of the runs and even on the back end. Man, what else can we tell you? Almost a 5-second gap to the end of it. Walk me through your race.
Yeah, man. I just I love racing here. I've been really good here in other series. I was telling Russ there when he's in chat with us right before the race that I was kind of struggling. I couldn't run my line like I wanted to, but for some reason, I don't know, maybe the track changed, but I know you guys probably seen me getting down to the bottom, being able to run the bottom a little bit and the apron and get a good exit off, and car felt great once I got to lead. I stayed out there. I know the 27. I think he spun behind me, and unfortunate that caution didn't come out, and I couldn't have raced him there at the end. But he was catching me there on the long run. I was kind of pushing that early run to see what the car would do. And then once I got the lead and I was just able to stay out front, I just kind of managed my stuff and just kind of did my thing. But car felt really great. It's just one of these places, man, I really like. And I've always enjoyed racing New Hampshire, and it's just I want to thank you personally, because I know I messaged you earlier and was asking you questions. You gave me some advice because this is the first time I've been here in the next gen car. So I thank you for that. I appreciate that. And 2 wins in a row, both of them has been really good for me. So that's awesome. I wasn't expecting to come out here and win tonight. I just want to run good and build points up. And there's nothing sweeter than a win, man.
Man, there is nothing sweeter than a win. And when we look at the rest of the races that we have for this season, it really plays into your wheelhouse and your strength. And I think you and McRae and Teft, I think all of you guys are going to have some fantastic battles. But, man, it was a fantastic job tonight. I mean, in my opinion, when you have those wins, there's wins that you win. There's wins that, like, you got 10 laps and you're faster on the short runs. And then there are wins where you're just faster in the beginning, the middle, and at the end of those runs. And that was like it's almost like Indy all over again for you tonight. Congratulations on a fantastic, dominant win, man. And we'll turn it over to you and let you give your shout outs.
Yeah, I appreciate that. First off, thanks to Andrew for letting me race in Racers Elite. When I first joined, I was struggling running any car, and I was learning. I think I finished second like 20 times before I finally got a win. And thanks to everybody at Races and Racers Elite. He's a good group of guys, great people to race with. Enjoy the league. Thanks for broadcasting. I enjoy talking to you guys. Congrats to my teammate on a P3 finish, Mr. Troy. He did a heck of a run there. And just thank you to my buddy TJ Lane. He made my paint scheme thank you for that. Thank you to the guys over at GLS. Thank you to Deep Racing, my buddies over there that support me as well. Thanks for everybody that tunes in and watches. I'm looking forward to racing next week at Nashville and getting some momentum going to the playoffs.
Well, I will tell you, I think Nashville really fits into your driving style. You and McRae So I think that's going to be a great battle. We look forward to calling that thing. And it's going to be about tire savings and long run speed. And I know you'll put the effort and the work in. So, man, we look forward to speaking to you next week.
I appreciate it. And I'll tell you one track I'm looking forward to is Darlington. That place is so fun to drive. I know a lot of guys don't like it, but I love Darlington, so I'm looking forward to that one more than anything. So
I was going to say, if you need any tips on Darlington, you make sure you get a hold of John because John's the Darlington dominator.
I think I've raced with John at Darlington in the trucks, and I've ran with him in the trucks, but he's really good there. So
Yeah, I'll give
There
you.
you go.
We'll do a little bit of practice or something before Darlington. How about that?
I appreciate that. Thank you guys. I appreciate y'all interviewing me, and thanks for having me up here. And I hope everybody enjoyed watching that race.
You got it, man. Congratulations.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, so Russ, there is your winner at New Hampshire. Fantastic job by him, and I just think that he found the speed, and he just had them all beat all night long.
Yeah, and if I'm being completely honest, for me tonight was kind of a surprise winner. I really didn't have Chris on my radar to win here tonight. I figured it was either going to come down to James McRae or Andrew. So for Chris to kind of come out of the gates hot, like I said, taking that lead, early on, getting that great jump on the initial start, and then being able to just get into his own rhythm and just kind of dominate this entire race. Surprise winner for me, but congrats to him. Congrats to the top three. And like I said, I'm not going to be here next week for Nashville. So good luck to everybody next week. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in each and every week and listening to us just kind of blab on and on and on. Man, we have a lot of fun doing it. We appreciate everybody tuning in and watching.
Yeah, and I will tell you, if you want to find, just like Andrew Teff said, if you want to find a place to race, go to racerselite.com. We are here on the Racers Elite Network sharing all of our races that we have. And just like you said, we race nearly every night. So make sure that you tune in, hit that subscribe button, because you never know when we're going to throw a broadcast up and we are going to talk about some of these fantastic drivers that we have here at Racers Elite. So Russ, for John and Russ, we're going to say goodnight, and we hope to talk to you soon. We'll see you there in Nashville next week.
Absolutely. Thanks for watching, everybody.